From Transport Topics in Washington, D.C., this is RoadSigns. Here is your host, Seth Clevenger.
Thank you for listening to RoadSigns, the podcast series from Transport Topics that explores the trends and technologies that are shaping the future of trucking. In this episode, we're going to take a close look at auxiliary power units and their place in the broader movement to boost efficiency and curb emissions in the trucking industry. APUs can increase driver comfort and conserve fuel while reducing engine idling, but can these systems also boost environmental sustainability? And how is APU technology evolving? We'll set out to answer those questions in this episode. But before we begin, I'd like to invite you to keep up to date on this topic and other important industry issues by subscribing to Transport Topics at ttn.ws/ttsubscribe. You can also text TT-subscribe to 571-622-0001. And now, to learn more about increasing efficiency and reducing emissions in the trucking industry, I'm excited to bring in Mathieu Boivin, CEO of Transtex. Welcome back to the podcast, Mathieu.
Hi, Seth. It's a pleasure to be back.
So Transtex, of course, is best known for trailer skirts, rear fairings, and other aerodynamic products. But the company, of course, has been expanding into other areas that are also connected to this broader theme of efficiency and sustainability in the trucking industry. So just a few months ago, Transtex acquired DClimate, a provider of electric auxiliary power units. So why did Transtex decide to purchase that company and get into the APU business?
Yes, absolutely. So Transtex acquisition of DClimate is really a strategic move for us. We decided a year ago that we were going to grow by acquisition, but it takes a lot of time to find a good company with the good product and the good culture to make it happen. But, you know, the mission of Transtex is bring efficiency to trucking. So DClimate is a perfect fit for us. I would say now that Transtex is a clean tech company. You know, aerodynamics components save fuel and emission when we have a moving truck, but EPUs will do the same when the truck is stopped. So it's kind of a great partnership between our two technologies. So we're always looking for ways to improve the fuel efficiency for our customers. And our customers are always asking us, you know, what other product could you offer to us? And I think DClimate was a great opportunity to answer this question. You know, now we at Transtex have a complete suite of product and solutions. So going from aerodynamic to EAPUs, so saving fuel and reducing emission as a moving truck or a truck that is not moving. And this really reinforced a commitment to lead both efficiency and sustainability in the trucking industry.
Yeah, I appreciate that overview. And on the surface, you think of aerodynamics and APUs seem quite different, but still have that common thread of improving efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Saving fuel. So it is connected, and you can see Transtex, evolving into a more of a diversified supplier for helping trucking companies become more efficient in different ways now.
For over 120 years, Great Dane has been synonymous with reliability and innovation, crafting trailers and truck bodies that endure the test of time. Great Dane is now committed to leading the charge for a greener planet with innovative products offering eco-friendly solutions. From reducing emissions to increasing efficiency, now more than ever, we're helping our customers lower their carbon footprint and improve their bottom line. Discover how Great Dane provides solutions for today and the future with products that are better for our customers and better for the planet. Visit us at greatdane.com today.
Now, I think most of our listeners, of course, are already very familiar with APUs, right? Providing power to the sleeper cab for heating and air conditioning while the truck's engine is off. But DClimate's eAPUs have a unique hybrid architecture. So let's go into that a little bit. I'm curious, I'd love to hear a little bit more about how it works. And also, how do DClimate's eAPUs differ from some of the other types of APUs on the market?
Yes. So first of all, the DClimate eAPU integrates advanced technology on high efficiency air conditioning and heating system. with our unique battery management system. Just to put in perspective, an over-the-road long-haul fleet, it's quite common to experience idle time from 45 to 55%. So half of the time if the truck is running, it ain't moving any freight. So that's a lot of fuel waste. So instead of idling the truck, as you mentioned, an EAPU can provide power for the function of cooling, heating, and power in the cab. So, if we continue on differences, standard mechanical EPU have usually a noisy mechanical or combustion motor with a high maintenance costs. An EAPU is powered by an electric motor that is quiet, reliable, and with a very low maintenance cost. As I was saying, our key feature is our patented battery management system. So how it works is DClimate EAPU, we utilize all 8 AGM batteries on the truck. So both from the starting battery and auxiliary battery that we supply with our system. That means we're pulling power from a very large reserve of battery, which avoid depleting battery too quickly, and also it avoids going in deep discharge, which is really bad for the battery life. So all 8 battery can be recharged from 40% to 80% in an hour with our 320 amp alternator. So this, quick recharge will keep idling time to a minimum if it's necessary. So this is really good with long break or reset time, where a driver will not have to idle his truck in all his 10 hours break time. So what's important also about our technology is that we are integrated with the truck auto start system. This ensures continuous and reliable operation. In a hard condition, after 10 hours, the battery will reach 40% of charge. The 8 batteries will reach 40% of charge. And this will engage the auto start of the truck to recharge the 8 battery, and that will shut down 60 minutes later for another long rest period. So in comparison with a traditional diesel APU, that cost of maintenance is high. There's also electric APUs that, sometimes fall short on performance. The DClimate APU provide a perfect balance between the performance and a solid ROI. Maybe lastly, another thing that, the DClimate EAPU unique feature is that we tailor APU solution specifically to the OEM. So we're connected directly to the truck ventilation system, and we're not only blowing air from the floor vent.
No, I appreciate that, and a great explanation of how this product is a bit different. And I think it's really important to see some innovation in this area, right? I mean, especially given the sort of the core reasons that companies are installing APUs, right? I mean, of course, there are many states that have anti-idling laws that limit truck engine idling. Of course, and as you already described, reducing idling also is a big way to save fuel. And that, of course, if you're saving fuel, you're reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So it's a win on both fronts there.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is also a way to improve driver comfort, right? Just to ensure that you have, if you're not going to idle, you can still access, heating, air conditioning, and be comfortable out on the road. And, just all those factors in mind, all these sort of drivers pushing the industry toward APUs. Do you expect APUs to become essentially standard equipment on long-haul commercial trucks as you look ahead?
Yeah, so, when we look at the trend in the industry, definitely we see a trend towards adopting more APUs, that's gaining momentum. Now we have the technology to deliver the comfort to what the driver need, and also the autonomy of a full rest period was what I believe was not available in the past. So, of course, if the driver is restricted to a 5 minutes idling, I don't see a better solution than an APU to stay comfortable in the cab. Like I said, 45 to 50% idling is a lot of money. And when you're using an EAPU, you can reduce that percentage under 10%. So that's a significant impact. You talk, Seth, about regulation. This can certainly push the adoption of technology forward. We saw this 10 years ago with skirts. California put laws that push the adoption of skirts. Now there's some states like Vermont, New York, and others that are following California, on stricter NOx regulation. And, I saw recently that the American Transportation Research Institute, ATRI, revealed that if you're idling your truck over 3 minutes in Burlington, Vermont, you can face a fine of more than $10,000. So, if those regulations get enforced, it becomes a logical choice for fleet that are operating in those cities or region where there's idling restriction to adopt EAPUs. So our technology will be there, to comply and help fleets comply with local requirement, and avoid fines.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned the state and local laws that are in place on idling. There's also this bigger push at the federal level, as well as in states, of course, like California and others, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, NOx emissions. We have the EPA Phase 3 greenhouse gas emissions standards are going to go into effect starting in 2027. That's of course a very big one for the whole industry. But when you look at those rules, greenhouse gas rules, NOx emissions, both at the federal and state level, how are those regulations going to affect the market for products like APUs? Is this going to be, yes, this will vary from one geography to the next, one state to the next, but do you see also a national impact here?
Yeah. As you said, starting with truck year 2027, that means all the truck being delivered in 2026. The EPA Phase 3 will impose stricter limit, mainly on nitrogen oxide, NOx, particulate matter, and greenhouse gas. So now that will require truck engine and exhaust system to meet those tougher standards. Now we see those regulation coming in place that will impact definitely the maintenance and the fuel practice that are coming towards us. So on one side, those regulations are driving innovation, but they're really asking to have a cleaner and more efficient technology on trucks. So the EPA Phase 3 do not include strict idling or anti-idling laws, but what we know is, the lower NOx emission system in trucks are complex and they're much more sensitive to idling. So, when idling system and those emission system, they don't burn particle at their best when they're idling. So EAPUs will help, those emission system to rest, when the truck is shut down.
Yeah. Well, we certainly understand, of course, anybody who's operating, really trucks for the last 15 plus years or so, the after treatment systems, the emission systems are one of the most common maintenance items, for sure. So making sure that those are operating as well as cleanly as possible is very important.
Yeah.
So apart from the government regulations, of course, there are also just large shippers that are pushing to reduce emissions, in their supply chains that are really just in line with their corporate sustainability goals. It's really more of a shipper-driven initiative in some cases. But do you see an opportunity for trucking companies to potentially help gain favor with those types of shippers, either win business or keep business or expand business with those shippers by, simple things like reducing idling, improving fuel consumption through APUs and aerodynamics? Is this something that can actually move the needle and potentially help companies secure more business?
Yes, for trucking companies, it's saving fuel is an economic benefit, but it's just not all about internal efficiency. A strong selling point of trucking company to shippers is to show how they're committed to reducing emission. shippers have, their corporate sustainability goals, and if a trucking company can show that it helps the shipper to move towards to reach that goal, I mean, this is a great selling point. So I see this as a win-win, that supports the business goal of the fleet, but also the environment, goals that the shipper has.
Yeah, for sure. And, I will say that much of the industry's conversation about sustainability and a lot of the innovation and new technology development that we've seen as a result has been focused on zero emission equipment, right? So battery electric trucks are on the market now. They're on the road today, hauling freight, but it's still in really small volumes, right? And only in really short haul and regional applications that fit the technology, right? It's just not a good fit today for long haul operations. You look at the truck market today, it's still overwhelmingly diesel. It's going to remain that way for quite some time, even with the regulations that are coming up. But in your view, how much opportunity remains to curb emissions by improving the efficiency of diesel trucks, right? Diesel trucks are the predominant technology today. How much more, efficiency can we squeeze out of diesel?
Mm-hmm. Like you say, there's a lot of buzz around zero emission equipment, like a battery electric truck. But we see a diesel truck are there to stay, and they're for sure the main type of trucks that are on the road today. So we're kind of focused on that opportunity for now. That we believe it's a long-term opportunity. One of the biggest opportunity is just to just don't have the engine run when you don't have to, when the truck is stationary. So by having an EAPU, you are kind of closing the gap between an electric truck and a diesel truck, So that's how we see it, saving fuel with an EAPU will just close the gap, use less fuel when you don't need to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's exciting to see some of the new technologies start to enter the market, and also investments in hydrogen fuel cell and other alternatives. But today, I think the most effective thing that any fleet can do is be as efficient as possible with their diesel vehicles, and even purchasing newer vehicles and optimizing those vehicles. Is the way to really have an impact, right now, I think.
For over 120 years, Great Dane has been synonymous with reliability and innovation, crafting trailers and truck bodies that endure the test of time. Great Dane is now committed to leading the charge for a greener planet with innovative products offering eco-friendly solutions. From reducing emissions to increasing efficiency, now more than ever, we're helping our customers lower their carbon footprint and improve their bottom line. Discover how Great Dane provides solutions for today and the future with products that are better for our customers and better for the planet. Visit us at greatdane.com today.
Now, shifting gears a little bit here, I did want to touch on another aspect of APU adoption, and that, of course, is driver comfort. So, driver recruiting and retention is always a major challenge for fleet operators across the industry, especially the long haul, over the road trucking companies. It's the turnover rates are just astronomical at times, and even in a market like today where it's not. There's really an overcapacity situation in the market, and there's not a lack of trucks to haul the freight. There's still a need for fleets to really improve their efforts to recruit drivers. It's always a struggle, and just the cost of recruiting when you have high turnover rates is so high. So anything that companies can do to make life easier for drivers, improve their comfort, can really pay dividends for the bottom line, of any trucking company. So again, Mathieu, how can APUs move the needle on that driver satisfaction piece, and ultimately, hopefully, have an effect on driver retention?
Yeah, really good question. So, at Transtex, we're really passionate about enhancing the driver experience. For the driver, it's not all about numbers and ROI. So, fleet, they don't like to push technology without the buy-in of the driver. So good fleet retains good driver, and for them, we feel it's a priority. So our approach is to make sure that the driver feel comfortable and is satisfied with the performance of the product. The next generation drivers, it's not also all about their equipment. They also have value on sustainability. So, not over polluting and reducing idling is something that they they're- they value. For example, we got excellent feedback from some of our customers, and one of them is Covenant Logistic, a long-term customer of us based in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Matt McClellan is their VP Corporate Sustainability and Innovation. And, he explained to us that it's not all about the financial return ROI when you are, equipping a truck with an EAPU. He calls this the social return on investment, what goes beyond the financial ROI. So essentially, this is all about driver recruitment and retention. So how to make the driver comfort and the satisfaction to the maximum. The EAPU will make a real difference by providing a comfortable environment to the driver. So no more vibrating cab or constant engine stop and start. The driver can enjoy a steady, quiet cabin with reliable cooling and heating. We also support auxiliary power needs like CPAP machines, charging phones, or watching TV. That just means a driver can have a better rest and and have also more enjoyable break time.
Yeah.
One other thing is our APU is all about making life on the road better for the driver. So, the feedback of Covenant Logistics, for example, highlights how they're able to retain great talent and building a positive work environment with EAPUs. So, what's very interesting is, every year, Covenant, Matt is responsible for Covenant Corporate Responsibility Report. And, they go beyond just cost saving. Like I say, they look at the social ROI. And in 2022, Transtex was featured as the Sustainability Spotlight of the Year. And in 2023, DClimate earned the Spotlight of the Year by significantly reducing the environment impact on the fleet of Covenant. So back to back, now we're putting two great technologies together and continuing, bringing efficiency to trucking.
Yeah, I actually think that notion of social ROI is going to become a more and more important consideration for companies moving forward, right? I mean, I know the traditional process is purely, ROI driven. We'll pilot a technology, see how, what is the payback period for it. But, there are those softer benefits and maybe a little bit less tangible, harder to track. And that can be, of course, your drivers being more satisfied, and you start to, that can translate to better driver retention, lower turnover costs, and recruiting costs as a result. Also, just working with your shippers, right? I mean, generating goodwill and with shippers who are looking to meet their sustainability targets, and having that conversation and being able to share, hey, this is what we're doing to reduce emissions, to be as efficient as possible. We're doing this, and we're aligned with your, the shippers' larger goals as well. That can have some soft benefits as well, and maybe that means even retaining business or winning new business from some of these shippers that are focused on those goals. So I think that's an important conversation for the industry moving forward, and an important consideration, that starts to enter the thought process on, hey, what are the technologies that we consider piloting and adopting moving forward? Mathieu, while I have you on the line, I always like to get some insights and thoughts on the future of the industry. We've been talking a lot here about environmental sustainability. It's one of the big trends, of course, that is shaping the future of the industry. But what are some of your thoughts on how this is going to change the industry, say in the next decade and beyond? How much more efficiency can we gain? How much cleaner can this industry become? And how can we get there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. I think there's a lot still to be done. At Transtex, we're committed to always seeking for the next big solution to enhance efficiency in transportation. We invest a lot in research and development to drive innovation, and a few things that we're looking at for the future is now by connecting technologies on the truck with telematics partners, we're able to get the data and give feedback to the fleet about their, let's say, idling pattern, for example, on their fleet. But more importantly, we have an app now available on telematics platform that will let the driver know how he's doing. What is his idling performance, to help him improve and save fuel. We're also looking at we're looking at on our technology roadmap. What are the new battery technology to bring that will bring even more performance? I think everyone is looking at that. So there is definitely a lot of work being done in that direction. Something I see also is there's great technology that we develop here in the United States and that we could sell globally. So a little bit of our effort also is to bring all the R&D and the product development we do here and selling it out of America to other markets that would take advantage of technology that we develop here. So drive the progress more on a global scale.
Yeah, I really appreciate those thoughts for sure. So there's a lot on the horizon, and I've been covering the industry for a little over 13 years now, and it's amazing how much has changed and all the innovation we've seen and how far the industry's come in 13 years.
Yes, absolutely.
I see we're nearing the end here, Mathieu, but before I let you go, just want to open it up to any parting thoughts you might like to share with our listeners before we end the conversation.
Yeah, I know that these days for trucking are not necessarily easy days, but we see that the market is getting back in better shape progressively, and usually when it's those time, this is a good time to invest in efficiency and good technology, so that when the industry start kicking in, the fleet is well equipped to face the load of transportation coming. So I would encourage the industry to stay focused on innovation and of course the profitability. But this is a good time to invest or set up the spec of trucks so that the near future coming will be easier to handle.
Well, I think that's a great way to end the call there. Really appreciate your insights as always, Mathieu. I always appreciate the chance to chat with you. And it's an interesting company to watch and an interesting space that we're all working in transportation these days. So thank you again for joining the podcast and sharing your insights.
Thank you very much, Seth.
If you've enjoyed this episode of Road Signs, please let others know. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If my questions have sparked questions of your own, share them with me and the Road Signs team. You can email us at share@ttnews.com. Also, let us know how we did by texting TT Survey to 571-622-0001. And of course, we'll be back soon with a fresh episode of Road Signs. Until then, I'm Seth Clevenger. Thank you for listening.